Was Iron Man ever truly free, or was his sacrifice always part of someone else's design? The multiverse we were shown always felt vast, chaotic, and infinite. But the more I looked at it, the more I felt something was off. Chaos doesn't organize itself this neatly. When I revisited the Citadel at the end of Loki Season 1, I stopped seeing it as a throne room and started seeing it as a control deck. Not a place where timelines were merely observed, but a place where selected realities were nudged, redirected, and sometimes quietly erased. Every window, every branching strand of light felt less like possibility and more like surveillance. He who remains never ruled through madness. He ruled through balance. And balance, I realized, always requires extremes pulling against each other. That's when I started connecting Iron Man and Doctor Doom in a way the MCU never spelled out. They were never random outcomes of fate. They were variables. Carefully placed, carefully cultivated, and ultimately carefully spent. The Citadel wasn't watching the multiverse. It was editing it. Tony Stark represents the extreme of sacrifice. Not just heroism, but voluntary erasure. From the moment he built that first suit in a cave, his life became a straight line pointing toward an ending he couldn't escape. His genius wasn't just intelligence, it was acceleration. Every invention pushed the world forward faster than it was ready for, and he who remains understood that unchecked progress is just another form of chaos. So Tony's ego, his guilt, his hunger for redemption, they weren't accidents. They were pressure points. Each failure tightened the walls around him. New York taught him fear. Ultron taught him regret. Sokovia taught him consequences. By Infinity War, Tony wasn't improvising anymore. He was being funneled. Endgame didn't offer multiple futures. It offered one survivable outcome. The snap wasn't bravery. It was a fixed point. What makes this darker is how natural it all feels in hindsight. Tony believes he chose to die, and that belief is essential. A sacrifice only works if the one making it thinks it's their decision. He who remains never forced Tony's hand. He removed alternatives. Every victory came with a cost that narrowed Tony's world. Love made him vulnerable. Fatherhood made him predictable. Responsibility became a leash. By the time the gauntlet burned into his armor, the choice was already made years earlier. Tony didn't break the loop. He completed it. The multiverse stabilized because one man erased himself willingly, convinced it was freedom when it was function. If Tony had survived, the danger wasn't emotional. It was exponential. A living Tony Stark with time travel knowledge, quantum tech, and no remaining fear would eventually outpace Kang-level oversight. Innovation would accelerate beyond controllable thresholds. Heroes would stop asking permission from time itself. That's why Iron Man's death wasn't just meaningful. It was necessary. His end closed the chapter of sacrifice in the multiversal equation. One extreme fulfilled its purpose. Then there's Doctor Doom, the opposite extreme. Where Tony gives everything up, Doom takes everything in. Control instead of sacrifice. Precision instead of empathy. I don't see Doom as a villain born from arrogance. I see him as a solution forged in conflict. Doom loses his mother, his kingdom, and his faith in randomness. He who remains never allows Doom a clean victory, never lets him be the savior because heroes inspire imitation. Doom inspires obedience. Every war Doom fights, every armor upgrade, every strategic retreat feels like preparation, not conquest. It's rehearsal. Doom doesn't want to save a city. He wants to stabilize existence itself. The more I connect the dots, the clearer it becomes that Doom is being shaped. Conflict sharpens him. Loss hardens him. Failure removes doubt. He who remains keeps Doom surrounded by enemies because fear is a more efficient tool than hope. Hope creates variables. Fear creates order. Doom becomes the multiverse's immune response, activated only when chaos reaches critical mass. He is not meant to be loved. He is meant to be necessary. And necessity is far more dangerous than evil. Iron Man burns bright and fast. Doom is patient, cold, and permanent. One solves problems by ending himself. The other solves problems by ending arguments. They are reflections, not opposites. Two answers to the same question. How do you keep infinity from destroying itself? The real revelation hit me when I realized they were never meant to exist alone. Iron Man saves the multiverse by dying for it. Dr. Doom preserves it by ruling it. And he who remains positions them like weights on a scale. If only Iron Man existed, freedom would explode into uncontrollable divergence. Infinite innovation, infinite rebellion, infinite collapse. If only Doom existed, order would fossilize into multiversal dictatorship. Progress would freeze. Balance demands both. But the timing, the duration, and the outcome were never theirs to decide. Every major turning point came from the Citadel. Every choice was just a corridor with invisible walls. That's the darkest trick of all. Giving someone free will while quietly editing the future. And this is where the story turns tragic. What if Tony Stark never snapped by pure choice, and Victor Von Doom never wanted to be a villain? What if they were cast into the same role across different timelines, branded differently for narrative stability? One erased as a hero so people would mourn him. The other condemned as a villain so people would fear him. Same function, different masks. When He Who Remains died, the problem wasn't that the multiverse fractured. The problem was that there was no longer anyone assigning roles. Universes collide like unchecked particles. Incursions become routine. Entire realities die between scenes. The Avengers keep arriving too late, saving fragments instead of futures. They fight symptoms, not causes. And in that vacuum, Doom doesn't rise as a conqueror. He rises as a savior. Not with speeches, but with results. Every time Doom intervenes, a universe survives. Every time the Avengers interfere, the damage multiplies. Doom understands something Kang never accepted. The multiverse doesn't need democracy. It needs discipline. Doom fuses technology, sorcery, and multiversal energy into something Kang only approximated. Kang controlled timelines. Doom rewrites realities. He doesn't call himself a god. He calls himself necessary. I am what remains when heroes fail. And the terrifying part is that he's right. Then comes the emotional knife twist. Tony Stark's sacrifice didn't end. Across fractured realities, fragments of his consciousness survived. Not a soul, not a ghost. An echo, an algorithm, a moral constant. Doom found it, studied it, integrated it. That's why Doom's system feels restrained. That's why his rule has limits. Iron Man didn't die. He became infrastructure. Doom didn't corrupt Tony's legacy. He perfected it. The Avengers fight Doom because he looks like a dictator. But after every clash, one universe remains standing that shouldn't have. Slowly, painfully, they understand the truth. Doom isn't ending realities. He's selecting survivable ones. Tony died so everyone could live. Doom lives as a villain so everyone can exist. In the end, Doom is given the same choice Tony once had. Infinite freedom with infinite destruction, or one compressed reality with guaranteed survival. The Avengers can stop him, but doing so means collapse. For the first time, they step back. Doom doesn't win. He's allowed to act. He compresses the multiverse into one rewritten universe. No snap, just will. The universe is reborn. Heroes live without memories. In a quiet school hallway, a young genius picks up a broken mask, neither Iron Man nor Doom. Somewhere in the ruins of the Citadel, a voice echoes, "There must always be someone who decides." If this theory hit you, like it, share it, and subscribe.